option on the website for those courses and meet me privately live every morning the market is open. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Oh boy, remember earlier Joe Manchin suggested that he was absolutely not going to vote for $2,000 stimulus checks? Well, this created such a stir, the stock market started falling, that his press secretary and the interviewer that he was talking to decided to release the full context of the conversation that Joe Manchin had and then provide us some more detail. In this quick video, I'm going to provide you that context because, at the very least, let's just say it is some good news. All right, let's go ahead and look at the context so we can understand a little bit more what is in the head of Joe Manchin when it comes to these $2,000 stimulus checks. So here we go. This is an interview, and this starts with, it's not the full interview. We just got a couple snippets of it here, but it gives us a lot more context around the $2,000 checks. So let's go ahead and jump into it with this page right here. Let me get to the first page here. So the question is, last thing I want to ask you, should getting more COVID relief out be job one, particularly stimulus checks? To this, Joe Manchin said, absolutely not. No. That was actually the snippet we got. And so really what happened here is the mainstream media dropped these bombs basically. Oh my God, Joe Manchin said absolutely not to $2,000 stimulus checks. But no, that's not exactly what he said. So now I gotta clear all this crap up. Well, at least we got the context to do it with. Everything's a mess. Congress is a mess. The media is a mess. A country's a mess. It's a disaster. So he's saying, okay, stimulus checks are not the number one priority. Okay, let's get more detail. Getting people vaccinated, that's job number one. Warp speed vaccinations is job number one. We can evaluate. We've already put out close to $4 trillion, okay? And we can see, but just getting another check to a person who's still working and still has a paycheck coming in, are we getting checks to the right people that aren't working and out to businesses that can't open up because we told them, please stay shut for another 2 or 3 months? Are we getting help to people that really need it? Is it going to be targeted? The economists, the best economists basically on both sides of the aisle, conservative, liberal economists, are both telling us, how is the money that we invest now going to help us get the best jobs back and get people employed? And I can't tell you that sending another check out is gonna do that to a person that's already got a check. So this is a whole lot more context here. This sounds very conversational, right? He's like, no, look, checks might be a priority, but look, COVID is the number one priority. I think we all agree. Get COVID done, my gosh. But yeah, stimulus checks is still another priority. That's not the snippet we got from the mainstream. So now we got the context though. Again, anyway, we'll continue on. Then the reporter questions. Okay, well, Senator Schumer has sent something along the lines of, you know, they campaigned in Georgia on $2,000 checks. We have to get that done. Joe Manchin, well, you know, we have a difference of opinion. That's the beauty of our whole caucus. We have a difference of opinion on that. Okay, so you say, make sure vaccinations get done. Checks are not. Warp speed vaccination is the first thing Joe Manchin interrupts. This is very raw, right? Like, we don't actually have this interview. We just have that first snippet that was misleading. And now we have a little bit more context, and these are raw, like, cliff notes. So, well, it's not cliff notes. The raw transcript is what it is. So warp speed vaccinations is the first thing he interrupts with. You want to get the economy back? You want to get jobs back? Give people some confidence they're not going to die. Make sure they're going to be healthy and see their families and start back to some social interaction that we should have. That should be job number one. Absolutely, unequivocally, warp speed, job number one. And I believe that Joe Biden will be able to do that for us. Okay, all right, this makes sense. So that's his priority. All right, let's get some more detail here. Now, I think you asked me, is my first priority the $2,000? I said no. My first priority is basically vaccination. That's the first thing we should do to get America healthy again, to get back to work, to earn the checks. If they're going to send out checks, there should be an economic advisory from basically economists showing how we direct it and get it to people that need it the most. And this obviously here is an argument around why is it that, with the last calculus, people who were making somewhere around $200,000 to $300,000 if they had multiple children would be able to get stimulus checks, right? That's something that is apparently very frustrating to Manchin, and it's not just frustrating to him, but it was frustrating to Republicans. It's frustrating to a lot of people. So then we go on and get some more detail here, and he says, hey, look, if we can get this targeted correctly, let's do the $2,000 checks. If economists say let's do it, but let's target it correctly. Okay. Then he goes on to say, I said, I'm not for sending a check to people who already have checks. I'm just for sending to people that don't have a check and can't get a check because their jobs are shut down and their business is closed. That's no guarantee it's going to create jobs. If we're trying to help people that lost their jobs, that businesses can't open up, they're closed down, we got more unemployment now, if they can direct money and they say, this will help stimulate the economy, hell yeah, I'm for it. He said that. Hell yeah, I'm for it. But basically right now, you better get them vaccinated, get the people vaccinated. So basically what you're saying is you're open to doing checks in a new package directed to the people who need it, not to people like you and me with six-figure salaries who are still getting paid. Exactly. Absolutely exactly. And people are telling you that. They're sending me, I got my cousin, he's a retired coal miner, he says, Joe, why are you sending me checks? There's people who got nothing next door to me. I don't know where in the hell $2,000 came from. I swear to God, I don't. That's another $400 billion. Give you an example. Ask Mitt Romney. He has a son who's extremely nice, extremely well, and he says, Joe, I got a son with 8 kids. 8 kids. By law, by the rules, my son will get $20,000. He doesn't need a penny. That's coming from Mitt Romney. This doesn't make sense to me. Let me tell you, I went back and read all that stuff that happened during the Great Depression and FDR's first 100 days. I don't even remember FDR recommending sending a damn penny to a human being. He gave him a job and gave him a paycheck. Yeah, Jesus criminy. Can't we start some infrastructure program to help people get them back on their feet? Do we have to keep sending checks out? Wow. Okay. That's pretty detailed. We got a little bit more from his press secretary as well. Press secretary clarified, his office clarified, that Joe Manchin is not opposed to sending $2,000 checks. We will evaluate the package when proposed, but we don't think it's the first priority. Joe Biden did reiterate the need for more direct relief flowing to families, including, quote, finishing the $2,000 stimulus checks, because again, it's going to be that $1,400 basically plus up. It's going to, not be another $2,000 check. It'll take you from $600 to $2,000. Biden did multiple times reaffirm support for the $2,000, also affirmed support for the $15 minimum wage, $15 per hour. And again, he multiple times here's another quote here in another section of his talking today. We need more direct relief flowing to families and small businesses, including finishing the job and getting people $2,000 in relief. So it came up multiple times. But this extra clarity here on Joe Manchin is actually good. It has it's a very honest dialogue, I feel like, of what some of the concerns might be amongst people on Capitol Hill. That, hey, look, if we could do something targeted and the economists say, yeah, let's do it. Hey, when the proposal comes out, sign me up to look at it, and I'm sure I'll be on board. That's kind of what he's implying here. But, based on that stimulus check calculator we were running on this channel when the $2,000 were going around and Mitch McConnell kind of dropped that bomb, why are people making $300,000 getting the stimulus checks? I mean, that was true, right? And I even mentioned on Twitter, like, hey, why don't you just I remember I tweeted Mitch McConnell. I'm like, Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, just amend it and make a hard stop at like $199. Like if you make more than $199 as a couple, you don't get it anymore, or something like that, right? Who knows what's going to end up happening? Maybe something like that will happen. Who knows? But the point is, the concern from earlier that Joe Manchin was just going to be that one person who's like, nope, we're not going to do $2,000 stimulus checks, and then all of a sudden there goes the Democratic majority in the Senate. That is now alleviated a little bit, which is actually good news. So, if you found this